Oh shit. Um, I thought I might try and address this comment from Bird Brain. From well, anyway, some people are born intersex with mixed genitals. I'm pretty sure that this has always been the case since, I don't know, let's say the dawn of man. So, what does this have to do with this recent thing of people changing their gender? I would say this is a birth defect. It's not like it's supposed to happen biologically. And this is the thing with these people, is they find some kind of system and then they look for anomalies, and then they use the anomaly as the reason to throw out the rule. I don't know why. Well, actually, no, I do know why. It's because these people have some kind of predisposition with the correct order of things. If anyone was to ever suggest that there's a correct order to something, these people would come along and say, "There's no order. We don't know what you're talking about, and just look at these anomalies here. Clearly, your system is completely wrong." Because how do you account for these anomalies? If somebody's got mixed genitals, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say this for certain, but I would assume that this person still has a gene code, or whatever you want to call it, which is either X or XY. And like I said, the fact that they have mixed genitals is probably a birth defect. And it's no reason to go around saying, well, clearly gender is now irrelevant. Where do they fit in your tiny world? Well, I mean, this straight away is just an accusation that I'm in the minority. You shouldn't hold this. You shouldn't hold this point of view, because there's not many of you, and we here have the majority. You wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of our majority, would you? Evidenced by racists, extremists, and Nazis also think their points are valid, but they are painfully wrong. Well, I mean, your whole comment is just just an attempt to call me a bigot, because that's, I mean, when it comes down to it, that's the only thing that you people do. You have all of this word salad, but you may as well have just wrote, "You are a bigot," because that's what this all comes down to. You don't actually offer any argument. You just find ways to frame me and label me as something, which is actually what you accuse someone like me of doing. Just like TERFs. For anyone who doesn't know, and I'm sure you people probably assume that someone who's coming from my position doesn't know anything about this and is just projecting their ignorance everywhere. This term, TERFs, means trans exclusionary radical feminist. Now, the general rule of thumb is that you have a left and a right. The left tend to be preoccupied with splitting things up and infighting, whereas the right likes to make things whole and it likes to include. And all of this gets mixed up massively. But like I say, the rule of thumb, these leftists, this is a leftist, they've had a split within the feminist movement. The feminist movement is a split within humanity from the beginning, split between men and women. This is then a secondary split within a split, a schism within a schism. TERF is a trans exclusionary radical feminist, so a feminist that excludes trans people. There's a war, shall we say, going on within the feminists of those who support the transsexuals and those who don't. The route that it seems to be taking is that the pro-trans people are the new age of the social justice feminist movement, and though the trans exclusionists hark back to more of a traditional sense of feminism. But you've made a lot of sexual and hateful comments within this video. Well, I mean, perhaps you're just not very good at writing, but I've made a sexual comment, or apparently that's a bad thing, or sexual and hateful. Are these supposed to be included as one thing? Fill me with bread, Eamon, give it to me. Well, actually I said, put some bread in me, Eamon, come on, put some bread in me. It wasn't a sexual comment, it was an attempt to show a logical fallacy, whereby if I call myself a toaster and then demand people to put bread in me, well, they're going to look at me and say, do what now? Actually, the thing that I thought of was the episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns creates a miniature, I don't know what it was, like a fucking escape capsule or escape pod or something like that, and it's like a toy, it's a miniature thing, and he demands Mr. Smithers get in it at gunpoint, and Mr. Smithers looks at him like, you've gone insane. Well, this is that. Apparently I also said there's no place for a trans person in society. I think we can probably go back and play what I actually said. Where are we going to find it? Somewhere around here. I thought it was brilliant.
Because then it wouldn't be a women's refuge, would it?
So where would I go?
Well, you could raise money and make your own refuge.
Wow. I mean, this thing doesn't want to be called a male or a female, but apparently it was a male and now it's a female. Well, actually no, you're not included in our society anymore, because you are by choice excluded. By choice excluded. I didn't say there's no place for it. I said that by choice they are excluded. They're not compatible with the society in place. They then want to impose changes to it in order to include them. The attack is made by them. I'm simply defending kellie-jay Minshall, kellie-jay keen-minshull, from the attack. This is all an attack on her. She's making a point, which is a reactionary point. You've conducted the attack. So to say that I'm just attacking is wrong. You made the attack. the same button that does a record opens up the source code on Chrome. Thankfully, you don't get to choose who is in society. Well, who does? I mean, clearly you think that they've decided. Trans people are here. What does this mean? These people were born either male or female. Okay, it's not debatable. It's not debatable by the fact that you don't try and debate it. You say, well, they didn't feel comfortable. There was a mistake made somewhere. Who knows who made that mistake? But they've decided to transition. They impose themselves on society. You need to deal with it via a therapist. Well, again, this is the same as this thing. It's you'd better conform, or we'll repeatedly slander you. We'll even go so far as to accuse you of being mentally deranged until you shut up. Now that is it's pretty. It's not very nice, to be honest. To deny trans and non-binary children / adults. Now, I already find it concerning that you say children first before adults. I mean, to me that just shows that this whole trans movement is really just it's for the children, it's not for the adults. It's all propaganda really at the end of the day. Is aimed at children because it's aimed at regime change, and the only successful regime change only comes when the children carry it onwards. You know, you had the Red Guard in China, who primarily conducted the revolution, the Cultural Revolution. The Hitler Youth was created for the same reason. Even in religions, the most successful religious conversions, or however you want to say it, happen in children. To misgender, I'm not even really sure what that means, because if it's implied that there's a mistake is made, and you say that it's a feeling, it's not physical or material, then how am I supposed to know? Really? I mean, other than everyone I ever meet, I address them first. I say, "Hi, yet to be identified gender. Are you male or female?" And then they tell me, and I say, "Okay, I didn't want to misgender you." Demographic implies that it's a political group. It's not an actual what would the word be? It's not like a race, you know. It's not, or an ethnic group. When you say demographic, you mean the voters of the East London borough, the voters of the South East. You know, it's political. This is all political. To misgender this demographic is a traumatic hate crime. What is the correct punishment for this crime? What is traumatic about it? Which damages the people you clearly want to suffer and bully online. Well, again, the trans people conducted the war. The people that were already here before trans people and have lived perfectly comfortably and fine with the concept of male and female. These people come along and say, no, we have to rewrite this is not right. Well, they don't want it to be changed. it doesn't really serve them any purpose to change it, and simply for defending themselves, they are intentionally damaging people who they want to bully. Well, no, you are the bullies. But you don't seem to see this. I don't. You are. Your mind is a torrent of revolution at all times, and just chaos, where nothing's ever set in place. It can just be whisked away at any time. Well, you'll never have a society. You'll never have it. You'll just have tyrants that impose on you. Because that's how it works when there is no consent. It's just one group versus another, apparently. Usually when people display discrimination to the extent where they are prompted to make a weird video, again, you never state the reasons for any of these things. You just put the accusation out there, and I'm just supposed to say, oh yeah, you're right. Hating, I wish we could remove this word from the vocabulary, because it's done nothing but confuse everything. Vulnerable. These people are so offensive and overt with their desires to convert children and the society. I don't think they're very vulnerable. It's almost like a lie. Deep-seated issues or some form of abuse. Do you claim to know this? How do you know this? Again, nothing's ever been explained. It's just been assumed. There's been false accusations made. There's been misrepresentation. It's probably better if you don't make any more videos. Well, I'm gonna do that. That's why I've made this one. So I just feel sorry for you. I don't need that. You can just keep that. That's the overriding feeling I'm left with. It's not supposed to be a feeling. You're supposed to use your logical mind to see the legitimate points that's being made, not just by me, but by Posey. So I don't care about your feelings. I really don't. The truth doesn't care about your feelings. That's the whole point of this. I hope you deal with your anger. Well, I mean, I've already addressed I don't know how much of the video you actually watched, because you must have just blurred over this. So I'm going to play it for you. If I can find it. Where would it be? What does that have to do with anything?
It back. You're fighting for it back,
Absolutely.
Right. You think it's been diluted.
Just winning a woman sort of entrepreneur award or business award, and he just wears a dress one day a week.
From the male.
This is one of these abominations.
My head, would you make me want to wear boys' clothes? Take my...
Into me,
Yeah,
how you
well-
react to that assertion.
I just want to ask...
Not be recognised.
Do you have any sympathy that you're looking at?
But one.
that makes you so angry. I mean, me as an individual...
Angry? Okay, so there isn't a legitimate argument that backs into law and, impacts on the whole foundation of the society. Instead, she just has to be angry as if it's an opinion. Right, okay, so I'm not just angry and it's not just an opinion. Too late for you to live a kinder and happier life. So I assume that you are very kind and happy, but you just are kind enough to come and accuse me of being a racist, extremist, a Nazi, a hate criminal, a weirdo. apparently I have deep-seated issues, I've been abused, you feel sorry for me, I'm angry. Where you can focus on the things that really matter to you. Well, this does matter to me. It doesn't matter to you, obviously, although perhaps it does if you've come along and made this word salad in some attempt to get me to shut up. And then a backhanded encouragement at the end. Well, most of the communists they just display this type of thinking. Nothing's ever explained. It's just accused, and then you're just expected to cower to their accusations. Well, the people are waking up to this kind of thing, and it's being called right wing at the moment, but that will eventually change.